Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Business Hub. What if I told you that there was one habit you have that's keeping you poor? Well, in this article, I'm going to share with you the one habit that you must avoid at all costs if you want to avoid being poor forever. Many years ago, my financials were a mess. I spent money on frivolous items, got myself into debt, and failed to save any substantial amount of money despite earning a modest income. Fortunately, I had the realization that these issues were only going to get worse unless I changed my ways. And so soon after, I developed a strange but effective habit that has allowed me to amass a sizable amount of wealth in the past few years. The habit I formed was to write myself a check every month. Now, I know this sounds strange, so let me explain further. Many of us on our pursuit to a life full of riches have read the book Richest Man in the Babylon, and while this book is packed with valuable money lessons, the majority of us have had a hard time implementing them into our own lives. If you've read the book, then you know that one of the key principles is to pay yourself first. It doesn't matter how much money you make, your goal should be to put away 10% of your income from each paycheck in order to start building your personal wealth. However, for most people, this is easier said than done. You see, most people pay the big companies first, succumbing to their expertly marketed products and services, which drains all the money, leaving them with nothing to save at the month's end. These marketing tactics we're constantly exposed to is why more than 80% of Americans are in debt, and why by not forming the habit of paying yourself first, you will almost certainly find yourself living a financially mediocre lifestyle. Now, maybe you want to turn around your situation. If so, the first thing you need to do is start seeing your income as a tool. You can either use this tool to help yourself by paying yourself first and building your savings, or to help others by spending and lining the pockets of companies. While it seems obvious that we should be helping ourselves, as I shared earlier in this video, it can be easy to fall victim to our desire for material goods. Luckily, in my own case, when I started writing checks to myself as a way of paying myself first, I began to find that I had much less money to devote to unnecessary goods that I would have previously bought. But I'll be the first to admit that it wasn't easy. Big companies are always trying to take your money. They do this by creating luxurious products and by creating the sense that if we don't have the newest thing, then we're all social outcasts. Take the iPhone as an example. Do we really need a new upgrade every year? It seems like each new model is almost identical to the last, yet we're conditioned to feel inferior if we don't have the latest iPhone. The same idea goes for expensive cars and watches. A $300,000 Ferrari will get you from point A to B the same as that $25,000 Honda will, and a $50,000 Rolex will tell the same time as a $50 Timex. Unfortunately, humans feel an innate need to fit in, and one of the ways companies market to us is by equating having the newest gear to being part of the crowd. As you're probably gathering, we don't buy these things because we need them. We buy them because we want to look rich and impress others. The problem with trying to look rich is that if you're not truly rich, then looking rich will make you poorer than the truly poor people. Therefore, one of the key ingredients in the recipe for riches is to stop paying companies first. Bill Gates tells a great story of the early days of Microsoft, when many customers would take months to pay, meaning that Gates would have to personally bankroll his company, which was only possible because he paid himself first. Another example comes from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, where Robert's rich dad lived frugally and paid himself first for years before finally buying one of the nicest properties in Hawaii. Even Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, drove around in an old Honda for years while having billions of dollars to his name. If you take time to study the lives of everyone who's ever made significant money, you'll notice the same thing again and again. The rich become rich because they pay themselves first for many years. They don't make money to spend money. They make money, keep money, and reinvest money again and again for several years, and that's why they eventually become richer than everyone. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have those people who seemingly live to spend their money. I'm sure that you have friends who are constantly broke, complaining that their financial position is because the government is corrupt or because someone screwed them over. In reality, they're their own worst enemy. And the same's true for millions of Americans. According to WalletHub's 2018 credit score and iPhone survey, nearly 28 million Americans believe that getting one of the Apple iPhones is worth going into debt to purchase. The worst part is that this propensity to take on the debt isn't hasn't only been experienced by low-income earners. I know people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and they have too little to show for it due to their exorbitant spending habits. And this is why the revenue figures for large companies like Apple and Amazon rise each and every year. So whether you're earning $50,000 a year or $500,000, my advice to you is to stop making the rich richer. And if you think that in order to save more money you just need to earn more, let me tell you that won't be the case. You see, there's something called Parkinsons Law, which states that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion, meaning that if you take on a project and are given 5 hours to complete it, you'll use a full 5 hours despite having the ability to get it done quicker. Well, the same concept applies to your money. If you get paid $1,000, then you'll be inclined to spend the whole amount, which leaves nothing left to be saved. This is where paying yourself first comes into play. In short, if you want to avoid being poor forever, then you need to give up the habit of paying the rich first. You need to be paying the most important person in your life first every single month, and that person is you. Whether that's 5% or 20% of your monthly income, make sure that the first person who gets paid each month is yourself. By paying yourself first, you'll naturally start to see your frivolous spending decrease, as you won't have that money lying around, begging to be spent on other material goods you definitely don't need. Anyways guys, this brings us to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next video that we'll post soon.